ABC News contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett. Brad, thank you so much for your time. The suspect left a message on those shell casings. What are police learning from the words deny, defend, and depose?
Well, I think Aaron pretty much pointed it out. It strikes me that it has to do with insurance companies using those terms in some of their processes of turning down claims. It's a common complaint by people that of having claims denied. And so I think this shooter is trying to send a message that someone, either himself or a loved one or someone close to him, has been harmed by this insurance company. And because there wouldn't be logically any other reason, because it's another indicator, Stephanie, of things that are left behind that may well come back to haunt this shooter when he's caught. Between the gun Aaron described, to the shell casings we just talked about, to a unique backpack, to going around Manhattan that has a camera, it seems like every block, and sometimes multiple cameras, even inside the hostel, even inside the Starbucks. I mean, you'd have to be naive to think that your photograph isn't captured every time you step into a place. But he left all of that. So I think this is he was very well motivated to do what he did and methodical in the way he did it, but completely sloppy and sort of naive beyond that. And maybe he doesn't care. We'll have to see what the real motive is and what drove this person to commit such a violent act.
And it seems like each day there's more and more evidence that police are able to gather. So talk about the unique firearm. You mentioned it briefly, but the unique firearm that was used and how it could help authorities.
So we're talking about a weapon that is from World War II. I believe it's British, and it has basically a suppressor. You could see the barrel was much longer than a typical 9mm would be. Back then, that's probably as close as they could come to a silencer that we have today. I think it would muffle the sound of the weapon as it was fired. But to use such a unique weapon, where probably the numbers of those type of weapons are so small in this country, you might be able to trace it back to a gun store. In fact, there was reporting earlier today that the police were at a gun store in Connecticut where one of these weapons, like this one we're talking about, was sold. So the short answer is it may be much easier to trace that weapon and who purchased it, presuming that the shooter is the one who actually purchased the weapon.
Authorities certainly working hard to gather as much evidence and catch this suspect. Brad, thank you so much for your time and insight. Really appreciate it.